Good afternoon. A happy Easter to you all. Sorry, I was talking there, but I left myself on mute as per usual. Let me just go and shut this Frank Warren balcony. While I go and shut the Frank Warren balcony here at Warren Towers, let me play the British boxing theme tune. Yeah, let me play the theme tune for the way that British boxing and British boxing fans are behaving at the moment while I go and shut this balcony window. Just give me 1 sec here. That's right. British boxing is an absolute fucking clown show. Right? Let's just tell the fucking truth. Alright? Let's just be real. British boxing is an absolute fucking clown show. Why do we keep doing this? Why do we keep going around in circles time and time again? Overhyping a whole bunch of fighters who ain't done jack shit in the sport of boxing. Talking about these guys are going to be certified and guaranteed world champions. Only to then have to walk it back 6 months later and come up with the usual, oh, Ultra, he's still learning. No, this loss don't count, Ultra. He's still learning on the job. It's like we haven't learned our lesson, have we? Before I crack on, we've already got 42 people in here. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Look, it comes down to this. Genuinely, right? What do you want? Do you want someone to come out here and tell it how it is? Or do you want me to pick up the microphone and say shit like, well, you know, maybe Conor Benn is as good as... Wait till I show you the fucking tweets that I've got lined up today. Some of the tweets out here are absolutely unbelievable. Before we get going, let me just quickly say a happy Easter to everybody. Dog owners. Many times, I have thought about doing an episode on dog owners. But all I will say is this, right? Because I think dog owners are a very special bunch of people. There are people currently right now, if you put in the hashtag dogs of Twitter, yeah, into your hashtag, there are grown men and women who are dressing up their dogs for Easter and putting the photos up on Twitter. This is what people are doing, yeah, on an Easter holiday. Yo, these people ain't got time to go out and get a second job. These are the people that are telling you Waitrose too expensive, you know. Waitrose too expensive. Waitrose too expensive. Boris Johnson took all my money. Ain't got time to work a second job, but you got time to dress up your dog and put flowers on your dog head. Are you fucking kidding me? So I just noticed that, you know. Look at this. Does that dog look like it's having a happy Easter? Look at this monstrosity. Look at this absolute fucking monstrosity. Look at this stuff. So, like I said before, right? Enjoy the decline, as I keep saying. I nicked that from Aaron Clary. But enjoy the decline. Enjoy the decline of Western civilization. And not only enjoy the decline of Western civilization, you know, out in certain, you know, Eastern European countries right now, they're literally in their trenches fighting for their very survival. What are we doing down here in the UK? We're dressing up dogs in Easter outfits. We're dressing up dogs in Easter outfits. This country is absolutely foobarred. Make no mistake about it. Having said that, let's get back to the topic here. British boxing is an absolute clown show. Exhibit A, Your Honour. Let me make sure. I don't know if I can get this guy's tweet off. Here we go. Look at this tweet here. Look at this tweet right at the top where I'm pointing. I'm trying to cover this guy's name to spare him the fucking embarrassment here. Just seen the Spence highlights. You would have beat Ugas. Spence is spiteful, but would he fancy standing in the pocket with you? Can you fucking believe this shit? That's the state of the UK on Easter Sunday. That's what dudes are doing in the United Kingdom on Easter Sunday. Dressing dogs up in Easter clothing and tweeting Conor Benn telling him he would have beat Yordenis Ugas last night and asking, would Errol Spence fancy standing in the pocket with you? Are you for real? Why do we always do this? Why is it every time in this country a good fighter comes along with a bit of potential? Why do we always have to over-egg the pudding time and time and time again? Why can't we just turn around and say, why is it not okay for YouTube channels like myself to say, this guy is a good fighter? That's it. He's just a good fighter. He's not an elite fighter yet. He's not shown he's elite yet. He has not shown elite level technique in the boxing ring yet. He has not fought any elite opposition yet. He hasn't shown he's world class in any real way, shape, or form yet, in my opinion, right? Why is that such a controversial and bad thing to say in this country? Because this country's fucked up. Why do we always go around in this circle? I should have gone on and drawn out a circular diagram. It's like the circle of life. I think this is what Elton John was talking about in The Lion King, wasn't he? Innit? We know when Elton John wrote that song, The Circle of Life, I could have sworn Elton John was inspired, yeah, by all these fucking British, particularly matchroom prospects that we see on Sky Next Gen. He's going to be a star. He's going to be a star. He's going to be a star. He's going to be world champion. He looks devastating. Yeah, against tomato cans and goat herders and road sweepers. Every time they step up and get beat, Ultra Tech, he learning on the job, Ultra. But Ultra, he learning on the job. Circle of life, isn't it, in British boxing, isn't it? Circle of life. And this time, I've come armed with some ammo. Now, I'm going to play you some of Eddie Hearn's post-fight press conference last night, yeah? On Conor Benn. But let's just look at some of the shit that we've seen in British boxing, right? Look at this shit, right? Lewis Ritson. Does anybody remember Lewis Ritson? Lewis Ritson. What do they call Lewis Ritson? The Geordie Golovkin. I'm literally going to quote Eddie Hearn, yeah? Talking about Lewis Ritson a couple of years ago, okay? Right. This is Eddie Hearn, and I quote. The problem is, once you get hit by the Geordie Golovkin, you just can't trade with Lewis at this weight. He's scary at this weight, and he still has a lot left to learn. I want him to move on and challenge for the European title, but I also want to take him to America. Look at this fucking shit. Listen to this. Ritson is growing such a strong fan base, Hearn could only think of Ricky Hatton's to compare it to. Ricky Hatton. They were comparing the fan base of Lewis Ritson to Ricky effing Hatton. The same Ricky Hatton who took 10, 20,000 fans across the pond to Vegas and drowned out Floyd Mayweather Jr. in his own country in one of the biggest pay-per-view fights of all fucking time. Lewis Ritson's fan base is comparable to Ricky Hatton. Lewis Ritson's the Geordie Golovkin. You just can't trade with Lewis at this weight. What happened to Lewis Ritson when he stepped up against that guy? What was his name? Was it Sergio Garcia or what was his name? What happened to Lewis Ritson when he stepped up? Pissing blood the next day. Pissing blood the next day. And I like Lewis Ritson. He's got one of the best jabs in British boxing. I like Lewis Ritson. Good fighter. But can you see the difference here? I want to take Lewis Ritson to America. He's the Geordie Golovkin. He's got a following just like Ricky Hatton. What happened when Lewis Ritson stepped up just around European level? Was pissing blood the next day. What about when Sam Egerton was the new Carl Froch? Does anybody remember that? What about when Sam Eggington was the new Carl Froch? I can't find them tweets, but you know they're out there. When Eddie and Barry Hearn were calling him Sam Eggington, the new Carl Froch. Does anybody remember that bullshit? Sam Eggington, the new Carl Froch. What about Josh Kelly? What about the superstar Josh Kelly? Let's get that up here. Let me remember Josh Kelly. Remember them left hooks? Hold on. Josh Kelly. Before they dumped him in the river. Do you remember when Josh Kelly was like trending on YouTube? And Josh Kelly highlight videos were getting millions and millions of views on YouTube. They were saying, Josh Kelly's in the Matrix. This guy was throwing 16 left hooks at a time, against fucking fruit and veg sellers, weren't he? They were picking fruit and veg sellers out of Newcastle. Free for a pound. Picking fruit and veg salesmen out of Newcastle, giving them tickets to Josh Kelly fights and then sending them in a flipping ring. Josh Kelly was left hooking these guys 170 times. And they were saying, you know, Josh Kelly, he's a star. Josh Kelly's going to be a star. Did we learn our lesson? Did we really learn our lesson? We'll get back to Josh Kelly in a minute. Yeah, Shevin. They were calling Josh Kelly the... Look. This, I think, to be fair, this might have been an American. Look at this shit. Josh Kelly, PBK, the future of boxing. Josh Kelly flow state. Yo, where are the videos about these dudes saying Josh Kelly's the Matrix? There was one video up here. I'm sure it's been taken down. They were saying Josh Kelly's in the Matrix and shit. Comparing him to fucking Keanu Reeves. Circle of Life, innit? If I wasn't going to get done for copyright, I'd be playing Elton John right now. Circle of Life. It's the circle. It's that circle of life. Circle of Life, Elton John, innit? Get fucking Simba out. Get Simba. And I haven't seen The Lion King in 20 years. It already got Simba and them damn hyenas and Uncle Scar. Bring them all out. Bring them all out and let's all sing Circle of Life by Elton John for British boxing. It's an absolute fucking clown show, isn't it? British boxing's a clown show. We keep going around in circles, don't we? Josh Kelly was the Matrix, right? Oh, yeah. He was the Matrix all the way up until he fought a guy called David Avanesyan. But we'll talk about him later on. Did I scroll past it? He said I scrolled past it. You see the shit? Where was it? No, I didn't. That ain't Josh Kelly. I didn't scroll past it. Bump of K says there was a Boxing Legends TV video of Josh Kelly, but they removed it. Yeah, that video did like millions and millions of views. People, listen, British people, this was before coronavirus. Do you remember the good old days before coronavirus when you could actually like walk outside your front door? Right? 2018 to 2020, people really believed that Josh Kelly was in the Matrix. Isn't it? It's funny, isn't it? What about Buatsi? What about the superstar Joshua Buatsi? When was he signed by Eddie Hearn now? Can you believe this shit? When was he signed by Eddie Hearn? 2017. Look at it. Another one. Get DJ Khaled out. Another one. Remember this one? Joshua Buatsi. 2017, yeah? Signed by Eddie Hearn. He's going to be a superstar. This guy won an Olympic medal on terrestrial TV. Right? 2017, signed by Eddie Hearn. 5 years later, yeah? Eddie Hearn, and I can't find the quote, but Eddie Hearn said, if Joshua Buatsi can't unify the division, then I haven't promoted him correctly. That's what he was saying about Buatsi. He's saying Buatsi was the next big thing. I'm not joking, yeah? Some people were comparing Buatsi to Evander Holyfield. Do you remember that? Do you remember when people were actually comparing Buatsi to Holyfield? I'm sure one time I heard some muppet in the media actually compared Buatsi to Holyfield. Let me see that. I'm going to Google that. I'm sure there were some muppets in this country that were talking about Buatsi. I'm not, there we go. There you go. Look at this shit. Joshua Buatsi gets compared to Evander Holyfield by Spencer Fearon, friend of the show. And you guys know I love Spencer Fearon to bits. Spencer Fearon don't love me, but I've got a hell of a lot of time for Spencer Fearon. But look, February the 4th, 2018. Yo, They're comparing Joshua Buatsi to Evander Holyfield. Yo, 5 years later, this dude fighting Craig Richards in a step-up fight. Craig Richards. Can you believe what a joke British boxing is? We out here comparing these dudes to Evander Holyfield. 5 years later, these dudes are having step-up fights against Craig Richards. Yes, Andre the Giant. Listen, if Tyson Fury beats Dillian Whyte, which I'm not sure about, we'll be bringing you all back. So I haven't forgotten about you, Andre the Giant. I haven't forgotten about you, Jason Walker. I haven't forgotten about any of you. All right? It's just like how Anthony Joshua says on DMs, isn't it? You know how Anthony Joshua says it on DMs? Real G's move in silence. You know what Anthony Joshua told Eddie Chambers behind the scenes on DM? Remember them DMs that Anthony Joshua allegedly sent to Eddie Chambers? Apparently he's a counterattacked. But look, do you remember that? Them DMs. Here you go. I've got the DMs right here. Was it Instagram DMs? There you go. I've got the DMs right here from AJ. There you go. Bitches talk. Real ones move in silence. Anthony Joshua at his best. Isn't that what AJ said? Didn't AJ say that? Bitches talk. Real ones move in silence. Yo, let me go. Let me have a drink of water. And while we do that, shout out to Anthony Joshua.
Okay.
Why do we keep doing this? Why do we keep doing this in British boxing? Why are we comparing Joshua Buatsi to Evander Holyfield? Why are we doing it? Why are we comparing Conor Benn, to his dad? I'll get on to Lord Barry Hearn in a second. Lord Barry Hearn out here saying Conor Benn's going to be as good as Nigel Benn. Really? Is that the same Nigel Benn who got in with one of the biggest punches in the history of boxing? In Gerald McLennan. Gerald McLennan is one of the hardest punchers, statistically, in the fucking history of boxing. Like this man's level of first round knockouts. And this man got in with punches. This man was knocking out punchers. This man was knocking out dudes like Julian Jackson and shit. That's who Nigel Benn got in the ring with. Nigel Benn got in the ring with dudes like Gerald McLennan at their peak. Here you go. You think I'm joking? Here's Bazza. They got Bazza out of the cupboard. Conor Benn better than his dad. There you go. Bump of K, I can't read your comments, but yes, he was. Yes, he was. I'm surprised nobody talks about that, by the way. Because you can quite clearly see there's something amiss there. But it is what it is. Nigel won that fight fair and square. Why do we do this? Like, why do we do this stuff? And do you know what? Am I wrong in saying this seems to be a phenomenon that particularly seems to affect matchroom fighters? Why do we always overhype matchroom fighters? Because am I right in saying this? But whenever Frank has a fighter and Frank starts pushing him up a bit too much, Anthony Yarde and Daniel Dubois, think about the amount of abuse that Anthony Yarde and Daniel Dubois have got on social media. Do you remember the amount of abuse Daniel Dubois got? Do you remember that? Do you remember how much abuse Daniel Dubois got for doing what? Daniel Dubois never harmed anybody. But because Frank Warren said he believed in him, said he believed he could be world champion, what did people say about Daniel Dubois? They said, nah, you can't say that about Daniel Dubois. He's a bum. He hasn't fought anybody. All he does is knock over tomato cans. Do you remember that? And as a result, when Daniel Dubois stepped up, this is something that Conor Benn hasn't actually done yet, yeah? And we'll talk about that in a second, yeah? Right? When Daniel Dubois actually did something that Conor Benn hasn't done yet, right? And actually step up and fight somebody in their fucking prime, right? In their fucking peak, in their fucking prime, and he lost. What did they say? They called him a quitter. Did they not? Did they not turn around and say Daniel Dubois is a quitter? And did they not laugh at him? Did Eddie Hearn not turn around and say, no, I don't believe Daniel Dubois has really got an eye injury. We need to see his scans. Look, just look. I'm not a doctor, but he just looked like a bit of bruising to me. Did they not say that about Daniel Dubois, who actually stepped in the ring against the top world level heavyweight, and he lost? What about this man, Anthony Yard? How much abuse did Anthony Yard get? Look at this. Look. Let's have a look at what Eddie Hearn said about Anthony Yard. Let's have a look at this. What Eddie Hearn said about Anthony Yard, and let's look at this. Tell me if you think this is very hypocritical. Eddie Hearn saying it's a big mistake for Anthony Yard to fight Sergei Kovalev. Well, listen, it didn't do Yard too much harm, did it? And Yard nearly got him out of there in the 8th round anyway. His stock increased, and now Yard's fighting for a world title. By the way, don't you find it interesting how this man, who was signed by Matchroom in 2017, Joshua Buatsi, signed by Matchroom in 2017, compared to Evander Holyfield, his biggest flipping step up, yeah, was Craig Richards. Anthony Yard's on the verge of fighting for a world title shot, yeah? Again, Anthony Yard's on the verge of fighting for a second world title shot. Anthony Yard, who had how many amateur fights did Anthony Yard have? Did Anthony Yard even have 15 amateur fights? No. Joshua Buatsi won a flipping medal. Joshua Buatsi's been a pro for 5 years. He's stepping up against Craig Richards. In that time, Anthony Yard fought Kovalev, lost to Lyndon Arthur, knocked out Lyndon Arthur, and now is about to fight for a world title again. But let's have a look at the abuse Anthony Yard got. And let's have a look at some of Eddie Hearn's comments about Anthony Yard. And then let's talk about Conor Benn. What do you think about what Eddie Hearn said? Eddie Hearn said that Frank Warren should never be allowing Anthony Yard to fight Sergei Kovalev because he should go through domestic level first. Let's quote Eddie Hearn. This is Eddie Hearn, and I quote. So how do you go from someone like Travis Rees to Kovalev? The answer is you don't, and Frank knows it. He knows Yard shouldn't be boxing Kovalev, but unfortunately, they avoided the domestic route and got the WBO European belt and kept defending it. Well, hold on a minute, you clown. You're doing the same thing with Conor Benn. Am I lying? Except you ain't even fighting a Kovalev. You ain't even fighting a Kovalev. You're looking to drag out fucking Mikey Garcia. They now want to drag out a 34-year-old Mikey Garcia, who ain't even a welterweight and has lost 2 out of his last 3 fights. But look at this from Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn, I'll say it one more time. This is Eddie Hearn about Anthony Yard. When did this clown? He said this back in 2019 about Anthony Yard. So how do you go from someone like Travis Rees to Kovalev? The answer is you don't, and Frank knows it. He knows Yard shouldn't be boxing Kovalev, but unfortunately, they avoided the domestic route and got the WBO European belt and kept defending it. Well, avoiding the domestic route is exactly what Conor Benn's doing right now. And Eddie Hearn is turning around and calling Conor Benn a global. He said Conor Benn's a superstar. I'll play you the flipping footage right now. Actually, he said that Conor Benn is a world star. Now, Eddie Hearn's a promoter. That's fine. That's his job. But where's the media? Like I said before, this media spending too much time. This media spending so much time sniffing Daniel Kinahan's boxers. They forgot to do their fucking job. This so-called media getting press passes to these fucking events. They're gonna sit down here and let Eddie Hearn pick up the mic and tell you in the middle of the ring next to Amir Khan that Conor Benn is an elite level fighter. And this media is gonna sit there and say nothing about that and not question that. And then the same media is then gonna turn around and allow these double standards to continue. Too busy sniffing Daniel Kinahan's boxer shorts instead of doing a day job. So you criticise Anthony Yard for avoiding domestic level. Well, let's have a look at Conor Benn. I mean, listen. I know certain people love BoxRec. What is it? They love BoxRec, right? These dudes love BoxRec so much. So let's go and have a look at BoxRec, right? Because BoxRec wins fights, doesn't it? Right? It's all about resume, isn't it? It's all about resume, isn't it? Can't trust the eye test. AKA, I haven't been in a boxing ring. I don't know what I'm talking about. All I know how to do is look at resume. One sec. Let's get Conor Benn BoxRec up then. It's not a problem. Let's get this dude's BoxRec up. I'm not going to comment on the photo. It was a long time ago. 89 in the chat, by the way. Please hit the like button. 89 in the chat, 36 likes. Please hit the like button. If you would like to please hand over all your month's salary. And you know what? At this point, I didn't even feel bad about taking your money because, look, let's face it. It's better than you blowing it on this bollocks, isn't it? So in the meantime, let's get back to business here. So let's have a look at this. Adam Hughes says, you can be a world star and not elite. Okay, that's fine. Well, I was going to ask this question, but I'll ask it now, Adam. Okay. Eddie Hearn says Conor Benn is a world star. But before we do this, let's play the actual footage of this clown saying it. Because you know what? British people, like I said before, listen, you know there's a lot of British people at the minute dressing their dogs up in Easter clothing, Easter Sunday clothing, yeah? So let's have a look. Hold on. These guys aren't going to believe me, are they? They're not going to believe me. They're going to say, Ultra's making up stories. That's what they're going to tell you. Ultra's making up stories. Eddie Hearn never said Conor Benn was one of the biggest stars in world boxing. Ultra's making it all up. And then they're going to be posting photos of their dog here on Twitter. Looking like this. I see the Ultra Tech. He's just trying to be like Stephen A. Smith. This is what's going on right now. You see, Ultra Tech, he's just trying to be controversial. He's trying to be like Stephen A. Smith. He's telling lies. He's telling lies. Eddie Hearn never said that. But look at my dog. Everybody, look at my dog. Hashtag dogs of Twitter. Okay, let's have a listen then. Let me get this up. Maybe make sure it's turned up, and let's have a listen.
Liverpool in front of a big crowd. Now Manchester, one of the biggest stars of British boxing, one of the biggest stars in world boxing.
You hear that?
We're going to go over to the floor for questions. The man from Essex headlining in Liverpool in front of a big crowd. Now Manchester, one of the biggest stars of British boxing, one of the biggest stars in world boxing.
There you go. So you heard that now. So now we can talk about it because now you heard that, yeah? One of the biggest stars in British boxing, one of the biggest stars in world boxing. Can anybody tell me, this is what any decent media should be asking. Can anybody provide me with any fucking evidence whatsoever to suggest that Conor Benn is one of the biggest stars in world boxing? Based on what? What is your metric for that? Tell us. What is your metric for figuring that Conor Benn is one of the biggest stars in world boxing? What's your metric for that? Are you kidding me? Conor Benn's one of the biggest stars in world boxing. Conor Benn's one of the biggest stars in world boxing. Let me tell you what happens when Conor Benn goes to America. That's what happens to Conor Benn. You see that? Conor Benn goes to America, he's going to end up on NBC News. Yeah? Body cam shows Ohio police putting black man from car. That's the only time you're going to see Conor Benn get famous in America anytime soon. You're going to end up on one of these videos, isn't it? You're going to end up on some body cam footage. Up on American TV. Black man gets pulled out of car illegally. Turns out he's world champion British boxer. Are you kidding me? He's some big star. What's the metric? Ticket sales? Paper? Oh, the Zone won't even tell us how many subscribers they've got. They won't even tell us how many subscribers they got. So what's the metric for saying he's one of the biggest stars in world boxing? What's the metric? Is it ticket sales? Is it pay-per-view buys? What is it? What is this metric? How did you come to that conclusion? But of course, the media journalists won't ask that, will they? Sit there lapping up bullshit. Of course, you know, Conor Benn's one of the biggest stars. Anyway, let's have a quick look at this. Get back to this. So, Eddie Hearn saying Anthony Yarde. Anthony Yarde, that domestic level, right? He was slagging off Anthony Yarde in 2019, as we've said in this article, yeah? Slagging off Anthony Yarde in 2019 and criticising Frank Warren for not putting Anthony Yarde through domestic level. This is when they were trying to tell you that Anthony Yarde was scared of Hosea Burton. Do you remember that one? When they were trying to tell you that Anthony Yarde was scared of Hosea Burton. And dudes was actually making YouTube videos going, is Anthony Yarde ducking Hosea Burton? Do you know what? I may get slagged off today, yeah? But time has a funny habit of making dumb people look even dumber. I'm serious. I may get slagged off today. I may get threatening messages today. But time has a habit of making dumb people look even dumber. Don't make me put that in YouTube. Is Conor Benn ducking Hosea Burton? Sorry, is Anthony Yarde ducking Hosea Burton? Do you remember that crap? Anyway, let's carry on. So Eddie Hearn's talking about Anthony Yarde ducking domestic level. Let's have a look at Conor Benn. Let's have a look at Conor Benn. Let's have a look at some of these opponents. Ooh, 2017, he fought Kane Baker, Nathan Clark, Brando Sanudo. He fought Cedric Payano. He was down twice in the first round, and then Payano came back and he knocked Payano down. I actually thought Conor Benn put on a very, very good performance and showed he had a hell of a lot of heart. Again, my problem is not with Conor Benn. That's what people don't seem to understand. I don't have no problem with Conor Benn as a person. I think he's getting a little bit big-headed, but I don't have no problem with Conor Benn as a person. I'm talking about the hype machine. I'm talking about British boxing fans lapping this shit up. As I said before, we keep going around in circles. Let's have a quick look at Conor Benn and his amazing domestic record. So Cedric Payano, he was down twice in the first round. Chris Truman. Is that the dude from the Truman Show? Who the fuck is Chris Truman? Who are these dudes? Eddie Hearn has all been spouting his mouth, isn't he, about other boxers, isn't he? He's been spouting his mouth about how it's bad for other boxers to skip domestic level. Right? We've just seen that, right? But yet he's doing the same thing with Conor Benn. Who the fuck is Chris Truman? Is it this dude here? Is that who Chris Truman is? Let's carry on, yeah, with this Conor Benn, yeah? Because we know Eddie Hearn doesn't like his fighters skipping domestic level like Anthony Yarde did. Cedric Payano, the rematch. You did Cedric Payano, by the way. Not going to make any comments there. It's funny how you're doing Cedric Payano, then knocking everything out moving. But anyway, Joseph Zadranik. Jussi Colli. Oh my God. Londoner in the Stick said more like Patrick Truman. That's cold. Patrick Truman from EastEnders, you know. And you know what the funny thing about Patrick Truman is, to be honest? He probably is about the right age for a Conor Benn opponent, isn't he? If we're being honest, isn't he? If we're being honest, isn't it? Patrick Truman probably is about the right age for a Conor Benn opponent. You know, I wouldn't put it past Eddie Hearn to turn around and say, yo, Patrick Truman. I mean, you might as well, innit? I mean, you're sitting there, you're pulling out fucking South African goat herders who have had one fight in 3 years, and then you're flying them over EasyJet first class to get sparked out in 2 rounds by Conor Benn. So at this point in Conor Benn's career, you might as well just put Patrick Truman in there, to be honest. Guess you love says Patrick might be too close to his prime. Look, again, it's not about hating Conor Benn. His promoter is saying he's elite, right? And we've got tweets online from people. Again, we'll show you the tweets in a minute. We've got tweets online from people. I've been sent tweets today from people who actually believe he will knock out Errol Spence. I'm not even joking. I'm not even joking. Let's carry on with this. Let's carry on with this then. So let's carry on with this. So what's it? Eddie Hearn, for those of you who have just joined, we're talking about hypocrisy. Eddie Hearn was slagging off in 2019. He was slagging off Anthony Yarde for fighting Sergey Kovalev and said Yarde basically avoided domestic level, right? So we're looking at Conor Benn, yeah, and his domestic level record. Let's continue. Who the fuck is Jussi Kovula? Jussi Kovula. Sounds like a brand of condom to me. Steve Jamoy. Do you remember Jamoy? Any a Scott Quigg victim? Jamoy. Or is that his brother? I think it's his brother, isn't it? Let's have a look. Yeah, it's his brother. Jamoy's got a brother. I was thinking that's not even the Jamoy that fought Quigg. Sebastian Formella. Who did he fight? A former Sean Porter victim. Samuel Vargas, Adrian Granados, Chris Algieri, and then Chris Van der Heerden. Let's have a look at Chris Van der Heerden. When did Errol Spence beat Chris Van der Heerden? Errol Spence beat Chris Van der Heerden 7 years ago. Errol Spence TK'd Chris Van der Heerden 7 years ago. 7 years ago. What was the top 10? What was going? What kind of music? Hold on. What kind of music was going on in 2017? 2015. Jesus Christ, 2015 was a long time ago. What was number one in the charts 2015? Back when Chris Van der Heerden got stopped by fucking Conor Benn. I've got the list here. I can just get to it here. Jesus Christ. Let's have a look at this. Look, this is a real eye-opener. In 2015, when Errol Spence done knocked out Chris Van der Heerden 7 years ago, these are some of the biggest tracks. One Direction. One Direction were in the charts. Ellie Goulding was in the charts. To be fair, a lot of these names are actually still around today. Flo Rida was number 2 in the charts. Hey! No, he wasn't. Flo Rida was in the top 10. Yo. No joke. When Errol Spence beat Chris Van der Heerden, Flo Rida was top 10 in the UK fucking charts. Flo Rida was top 10 in the UK charts, yeah? When Errol Spence fucking went and beat Chris Van der Heerden 7 years ago. Little Mix, they were trash. Teeny Temper, Rascal. Who remembers Teeny Temper? Teeny Temper was still in the charts. Wait. Listen, these Conor Benn opponents, yeah? Like I said before, these Conor Benn opponents are mummified, man. Let's just tell it how it is. These Conor Benn opponents are mummified, bro. You show you a picture of Conor Benn opponents. Where are you getting Eddie Hearn be getting Conor Benn opponents from? Look at some of Conor Benn's former victims. They're literally digging. Conor Benn opponents, man. Teeny Temper was still in the charts around about that time, yeah? Chris Van der Heerden was getting battered by Errol Spence. 7 years later, they resurrecting these dudes like Conor Benn. You feel me? There you go. This would be the matchmakers getting Conor Benn opponents. I'll show you. There you go. There you go. That's the matchmakers right there. See that? That's Frank Smith. I know he looks a bit darker skinned, but that's Frank Smith with a tan on. That's Frank Smith prepping Mikey Garcia for Conor Benn in his next fight. No lie. No lie. That's Frank Smith preparing Mikey Garcia, yeah? Who's lost 2 out of his last 3 fights. 34 years old. Beaten from pillar to post for 12 rounds by Errol Spence. That's Frank Smith dusted off Mikey Garcia. They're gonna go and put him in the ring with with Conor Benn. And Conor Benn be saying some crazy shit, you know. What did he say? Let me play Conor Benn post-fight. Conor Benn saying some crazy shit. Like, he's saying he wants to fight Kell Brook, which makes sense because Kell Brook's about 35 years old, nearly lost both his eyes. So we know that, you know, Kell Brook's the perfect MO for a Conor Benn opponent. But I thought the Maurice Hooker fight is actually a really good fight for Conor Benn. But let's see what Conor Benn said about Maurice Hooker. Let me see if we can put this up.
I'll never get used to it. Let's put it like that. I went out there and I don't know about now, but he's the number 1 in the ranking in terms of Britain. He's former world champion. He's just come off a great win card. He's highly ranked in the world rankings. That makes sense for me in terms of progression of my career because he's ranked not too fast about he can't fight. You know, the reason I've got him was for him to express them feelings that he's said in other interviews about him wanting to fight me. But you know, now we know it's not the case in black and white. So Crawford will probably be my go-to, and then obviously we'll keep the Danny Garcia, Mikey Garcia. I'm not too interested in Maurice Hooker. I think he's at the same level as Van Heerden.
I'm not too sure, but I'm not too keen on Maurice Hooker. He's at the same level as Van Heerden. Did he just say that? Like, Maurice Hooker's on the same level as Chris Van der Heerden. Hey, hold on a minute.
Right, so Crawford will probably be my go-to, and then obviously we'll keep the Danny Garcia, Mikey Garcia. I'm not too interested in Maurice Hooker. I think he's at the same level as Van Heerden. I think the Danny Garcia is the Mikey Garcia.
Hold on a minute. Since when was Chris Van der Heerden ever on the same level as former world champion Maurice Hooker, who had a loss to Jose Ramirez, who went in with Josh Taylor to be undisputed at the weight? Can someone explain that to me? The logic there in Conor Benn's thinking. Since when can somebody tell me, was there ever a time where Chris Van der Heerden was on the same level as Maurice Hooker? Because Maurice Hooker was a world champion. And Maurice Hooker has lost to some good fighters, including the guy who ended up fighting Josh Taylor for undisputed, right? So why is Conor Benn not interested in Maurice Hooker? But he interested in Mikey Garcia, though. None of what this guy says makes any sense whatsoever. But like I said, my problem was never with Conor Benn, per se. My problem was with the hype surrounding him. There was something else I wanted to get through, and I completely forgot it. And I'll go through some comments. Sorry about that. Because you know what? I think Maurice Hooker, stylistically, I think he knocked out Maurice Hooker. Simple as that. Too big, too strong. But stylistically, I think that's a good fight, because Maurice Hooker has got a very, very good jab and he's rangy. So while it lasts, Ben will win by knockout, but it could be interesting to see how he deals with distance. And Eddie Hearn was talking about that and tried to make that fight, but he's saying he's not interested in Maurice Hooker. He's on the same level as Chris Van der Heerden. Really? I don't think so. Maurice Hooker was a world champion. 7 years ago, Chris Van der Heerden was getting beaten up by Errol Spence. But like I said before, my problem ain't with Conor Benn. My problem's with the British media, because we keep going around in circles with this shit and we keep letting these guys fool us, don't we? We keep doing this, don't we? We keep letting these guys fool us. Here's the new one, Johnny Fisher. Remember this guy? Johnny Fisher. Eddie Hearn's talking about taking this guy to Vegas. Am I lying or am I not lying? They're talking about taking this man, Johnny Fisher, to Vegas. Probably on an all-you-can-eat buffet, because he ain't going to be boxing for any world titles in Vegas anytime soon. Shout out to Mark Tibbs. I love Mark Tibbs to bits, but two of his fighters I just can't deal with. Ebony Bridges and Johnny Fisher. Where Eddie Hearn saying that they're going to take Johnny Fisher on big nights at Vegas. Yeah, all-you-can-eat buffet. All-you-can-eat buffet. I hear they do some very, very good prawn crackers in Vegas. But that's about the end of it for Johnny Fisher. I mean, let's get fucking serious. Him and his dad on TV, eating everything in damn sight, in the middle of a credit crunch. People are fucking struggling to heat their homes up in a minute. And you've got Big Johnny, and Johnny Fisher walking into Asda's, cleaning every damn thing off the shelves. Have these people got no respect? British boxing is an absolute and utter laughingstock. Plain and simple. It's a laughingstock. While we're at it, I'll go through your comments. Sorry about that. And if people want to come on, they can come on. And if you want to come on and give your views about Conor Benn, you can come on. Hold on a minute. Let me see this shit. Let me get this one more time. Ebony Bridges. Again, Mark Tibbs. Love Mark Tibbs to bits. Ebony Bridges. I tell you what. If I never see this woman again, I wouldn't give a shit. Literally sick of the sight of this woman, to be honest. We talk about overhyping British boxers, right? We talk about how much British boxers are overhyped. And Ebony Bridges isn't a British boxer, but she fights here, She's not a British boxer, but she has the majority of her fights here. This is where she's based, yeah? We all know at the minute she's pretending to support Leeds United, which I think is fucking cringy. I mean, she didn't even know what Leeds United was a couple of weeks ago. But anyway, look, what about this then? What about Ebony Bridges? Why do we keep doing this? Why is it any time there's a decent fighter fighting over in Britain, we have to start overrating them? Why can't we just say they're a good fighter? Why do we have to say stuff like Ebony Bridges is the second coming of Muhammad Ali? What the fuck is the problem with journalism in this country?
Watch out for Ebony Bridges, because she is potentially a Muhammad Ali for women's boxing. Why?
Because she's got big tits. Is that why she's a Muhammad Ali for women's boxing? Because she's got big tits. Is that what it is? No, but being real now, is that what it is? Ebony Bridges is a Muhammad Ali for British boxing because she's got big tits, and because a lot of blokes who watch boxing wouldn't mind, Is that why Ebony Bridges is a Muhammad Ali for female boxing? Why can't we just say that? Why can't we just say these fighters are good? Why can't we just say Ebony Bridges is a good fighter? Why can't we just say Joshua Buatsi is a good fighter? Why can't we just say Conor Benn is a good fighter? Why have we got to start bringing Ugas into it? Why have we got to start comparing Buatsi to Evander Holyfield? Why have we got to start comparing Josh Kelly to the Matrix? Why have we got to start saying Ebony Bridges is a Muhammad Ali for female boxing?
Watch out for Ebony Bridges, because she is potentially a Muhammad Ali for women's boxing. Why? Because she is a complete free spirit, like Muhammad Ali was. She can change the way society sees women boxers. The lingerie at weigh-ins, the posing, the total ownership of what her body is and what she's doing. Watch the space, because she is a fascinating person in the sport of boxing.
Jesus, Ebony Bridges is a fascinating person. Right. If anybody wants to come on and talk about Conor Benn, I'm going to drop the link. If anybody wants to come on and talk about Conor Benn. In the meantime, let's play the British boxing theme tune one more time. There you go. That's British boxing. That is the British boxing theme tune. Now, if you hear that on any other show, because there's a lot of people out there biting my shit. Every other week I hear stuff. I hear snippets of stuff, and it's like, oh my. I wish people would stop biting my flow, man. Oh, it's nasty, man. Get your own flow, man. Stop biting my flow. Shit. These dudes think I'm some kind of ghostwriter. They be biting my bars, man. Biting my flow. Copying my jokes. Twitter's the worst of it. You know, I started editing them websites on Twitter. You know, I started editing the Matchroom website on Twitter, yeah? Now other dudes have to do that as well now. You got dudes doing that as well. They're now editing the Matchroom website on Twitter. Let's see if that... Oh, they're lucky that Conor Benn card still ain't up, because I would quickly go in and re-edit that very quickly. Find Conor Benn's next opponent. They are lucky as hell. They are lucky as hell. Yeah, so it is what it is. That's my point. In conclusion, I will say this. I have no problem with Conor Benn, yeah, as a person. I have absolutely no problem with Conor Benn as a person. Like, if I saw Conor Benn in the street, I'd shit myself. The guy's legit. I've got a lot of time for Conor Benn. He trains hard and everything. But when it's the hyperbole, when it's stuff like this, when these people are saying that, and these are the tweets you can see in the top left-hand corner here. Just seen the Spence highlights, you would have beat Ugas. Based on what? Or saying they don't think Conor Benn would fancy it with fucking... they don't think Errol Spence would fancy it with Conor Benn. Got to be careful I don't play that. I mean, it's painful. And that's the reason why Conor Benn has to limit his replies, by the way. You know Conor Benn on Twitter, he has to limit his replies. He limits his replies for a reason, because he doesn't want people asking questions about, you know, why are you fighting all these corpses? You know what I mean? The last time we saw this many corpses, yeah? The last time we saw this many corpses in an arena with flashing lights was when Michael Jackson did Thriller, innit? When was the last time, yeah, we saw this many fucking corpses? In front of a bunch of cameramen and flashing lights everywhere. Thriller, innit? You know what I'm saying? Thriller. Be getting Conor. You can see it's this. You talk about resume. You look at the screen right now. I'll show you Conor Benn resume right now. There you go. That's Conor Benn resume on the screen. That's what he needs to come out to. Stop trying to be a dad coming out to Conroy Smith. I'm dangerous. You need to be coming out to, there's a thriller. You know, if Conor Benn, yeah, let me tell you, I'm telling you now, Conor, if you come out in your next fight, yeah, to Michael Jackson's Thriller and have all their mummies behind you, I tell you what, I'll take it back, you're world class. I'll admit you're an elite fighter. If you do that, if you do that. You come out like Michael Jackson, yeah? And then all the mummies come out, yeah? Representing all the opponents that you be digging out from these graves. If you do that, then I'll admit you're an elite level fighter, and it's true, everybody's ducking you. I'll agree with that. Here's the other thing I wanted to say quickly. Let's talk about Conor Benn, who he's fighting next. Can somebody explain this to me, please? Because I haven't got a fucking clue here. Can somebody explain this to me? Do you know when British media talk about Danny Garcia and Keith Thurman? Why do they talk about Danny Garcia and Keith Thurman like Danny Garcia has no choice? Like, has anybody actually asked Danny Garcia if he knows who Conor Benn is? No disrespect, but has anybody actually asked Danny Garcia about Conor Benn? Like, Eddie Hearn sitting there talking like he's Danny Garcia's promoter. Well, we'd be fighting Danny Garcia. Says who? Who told you he'd be fighting Danny Garcia next? Have you spoken to Danny Garcia? Have you spoken to Al Heyman? What the fuck are these guys talking about? These guys are just putting names out of a damn raffle. Isn't it? It's the Conor Benn raffle, isn't it? The Conor Benn raffle. They just pull fucking names. They just pull names out of some damn raffle bucket. But just have any journalists actually looked into the viability of these names? There you go. There's the Conor Benn raffle bucket. Only if you dip your hand in here and go right to the bottom, you might pull out Danny Garcia. But has anybody asked Danny Garcia? Yo, Danny, Eddie Hearn's over here running his mouth, jumping in the ring of Ahmed Khan. He says you're fighting Conor Benn next. Has anybody actually fucking asked him? Because I'm not even sure he knows who Conor Benn is. And if he does know, I'm not sure if he gives a shit. You know, Sharon sent me pictures of Danny Garcia on Instagram, right? Danny Garcia up in his 15 million mansion, and Sharon saying, yeah, what the fuck are these, what are these British dudes yapping on about? Like, they're so, oh yeah, you're going to fight Danny Garcia. Well, have you actually asked Danny Garcia? Well, you think Danny Garcia is going to go into an 8-week training camp to fight Conor fucking Benn? This guy's just fought Errol Spence, for fuck's sake. This guy's just been in fights with Errol Spence. This guy was in big fights with Sean Porter for WBC titles. You're telling me that Danny Garcia is going to take off that silk robe and he's going to take off them silk pajamas, and you're telling me that Danny Garcia is going to start road running again to fight Conor Benn on the zone? Has anybody told Danny Garcia about this? Because I don't think he knows. Where are these names coming from? Danny Garcia. Where are these? The Keith Thurman. What the fuck? Do people actually hear themselves talk when they speak this bullshit? Genuinely, do people actually hear themselves talk when they speak this bullshit? What are they talking about? Yeah, Mr. JR says Garcia is fatter than me. Well, all Danny Garcia is talking about right now is real estate. Danny Garcia is on Instagram talking about how much money he's making from real estate. But according to the British media and according to British fans on Twitter, Danny Garcia is going to stop making a bunch of millions of pounds in real estate. He's going to take off them silk pajamas and he's going to start road running and cutting himself down to 147 again because he wants to fight Conor Benn. What an absolute clown show. Keith Thurman. Do you think Keith Thurman's going to fight Conor Benn? For what? Why would can someone explain this to me? Why on earth would Keith Thurman fight Conor Benn? What does Keith Thurman get out of a fight with Conor Benn? Since you guys are all spending all day telling me Conor Benn can't fight David Avanesyan because Conor Benn gets nothing out of it. So what the fuck does Keith Thurman get out of fighting Conor Benn? Eh? How do you go from Fox pay-per-view? Was Keith Thurman ever on Fox pay-per-view? Let me Google that. Let me just double check if Keith Thurman was ever on Fox pay-per-view. Yeah. He was on Fox anyway. I'm not sure he was on Fox pay-per-view. He was. Apparently, Thurman and Barrios was actually Fox Sports pay-per-view. So you're telling me that he's gonna go, Keith Thurman, he's gonna go out of the Errol Spence, Terence Crawford conversation. Keith Thurman's going to take himself out of the Errol Spence, Terence Crawford conversation because he's going to go and fight Conor Benn. And where's that fight going to happen? Dum-dum. What you think? You think Keith Thurman's going to come to the O2 Arena? Yeah, that'll be the next one, isn't it? Yeah, Ultra. Trust me, Eddie Hearn told me Keith Thurman's going to come to the O2 Ultra. Keith Thurman's going to come to the O2 Arena and fight Conor Benn on the zone. He's going to fight Conor Benn on the app. $7.99 a month, Ultra. Trust me. Trust me, Ultra. Keith Thurman's coming over. Like, where are these names coming from? Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia. Where are these names coming from? Media, do your job. Pick up the phone to Keith Thurman and ask Keith Thurman, have you ever heard of this guy, Conor Benn? Are you going to come to the UK and fight Conor Benn? No. Right. Cross that name off. Cross that name off. Yeah? Take that name out of the Conor Benn raffle bucket. The Conor Benn opponent raffle bucket. And be done with it. Who are you fooling? Who are you fooling with these names? London Ennis says, only thing Keith Thurman will get fighting Conor is his hairline potentially getting pushed further back. I mean, what the fuck? Why would Keith Thurman fight Conor Benn for what? So where are these names coming from? Who do you want to see Conor Benn in the ring with next? Yeah, Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia. Listen, it's going to be Mikey. They're going to try and drag Mikey out because, of course, Mikey, is he still a free agent? Mikey, I think, might still be a free agent. And has recently been taking that DAZN money, hasn't he? He's recently been taking that DAZN money. So Mikey Garcia, that sounds very plausible to me. But you see what they try and do? You see how they try and do it? Instead of just saying, look, we're going to try and get the Mikey Garcia fight or the Broner fight, because I think both of those guys might be free agents, right? You see, instead of doing that, they try and put in these other bullshit names to try and throw you off the track. Yeah, it could be Mikey Garcia and Adrien Broner. It could also be Keith Thurman. It could also be Keith Thurman and Danny Garcia. Give me a fucking break, man, with this bullshit, man. If it's Robert Guerrero, that's it. Simple as that. I know Robert Guerrero, they were looking at Robert Guerrero. And they were looking at Robert Guerrero as an opponent for Conor Benn last time around, before this fight with Randy Hearn. Robert Guerrero was one of the names on the list. Look. Sure he was on the list. Robert Guerrero. When did he fight Floyd Mayweather Jr.? There you go, look. You think I'm joking? Look at this. This man, Conor Benn. I'm crushing it in the gym. I'm crushing it in the gym. Yo, this dude, and I'm not saying he's ducking, but they wouldn't even let this dude fight Florian Marku. They wouldn't even let this dude fight Michael McKinson. They wouldn't even let this dude fight Michael McKinson. But this dude's telling you, oh yeah, they're going to let me go in with Keith Thurman. It's only going to be elite opponents from now on in. Look at this. Conor Benn set to fight again in April with Robert Guerrero and Maurice Hooker lined up before Adrien Broner. So there you go, Robert Guerrero. How old is Robert Guerrero at the minute? Can somebody tell me? Guerrero, 38, is a two-weight world champion. When did Robert Guerrero get beat by Mayweather on pay-per-view? I don't think Guerrero was even in his prime when he got beaten by Mayweather. When did Guerrero fight Mayweather? Let me get that up here on BoxRec. I'm in a BoxRec mood. Since everybody loves BoxRec, hold on. Let me get Robert Guerrero up on BoxRec. Fuck it, I've got Wikipedia here. Actually, let me do BoxRec. Hold on, here we go. Let me get this up. One sec. Find out the year that he fought Mayweather. Oh, Crazy D3 beat me to it. Check this out. 2013. Robert Guerrero was beaten decisively by Floyd Mayweather Jr. 10 years ago on pay-per-view. 10 years ago, this man got schooled by Floyd Mayweather Jr. on pay-per-view. 10 years ago. Yo, up until January of this year. Look at this article. 12th of January 2022. Up until January of this year. They were looking up Floyd Mayweather Jr. victims from 10 years ago and trying to serve them up to Conor Benn. And they're telling you he's an elite fighter. That's what they're telling you. He's an elite fighter. This dude's so elite. They be dragging up Floyd Mayweather Jr. opponents from 10 years ago. And they be trying to put him in the ring with the Destroyer. Yo. All I got to say is this, man. Oh, gee, Sharon sent me all these photos. Let me, oh, by the way, 87 in here, 44 likes. Please hit the like button. It is what it is. We're nearly done here. But yeah, look, it's not about hating Conor Benn. It's about cutting through the nonsense. Like, Conor Benn's a fighter. He's supposed to believe in himself. I don't have a problem per se with Conor Benn. If you see, in this episode, I haven't really slagged off Conor Benn too much or laid into Conor Benn too much. You feel me? But it's the promotion, man. And it's the media. It's the media that lap this shit up and don't ask any questions. They don't ask any questions. Has anybody actually asked Eddie Hearn, yo, all these years ago, you were slagging off Anthony Yard for skipping domestic level and saying he was ducking Hosea Burton. Well, guess what? How come you now doing exactly the same thing with Conor Benn? And you're making up all these fucking excuses? There was something else I wanted to show as well, but I've completely forgotten. But like I said, Conor Benn's crushing it in the gym. Let's quickly check the comments before we go. Let's check the IFL TV comment section before we go. Mr. Fool says, what's your definition of elite ultra, not Conor Benn? That's my definition. Let me quickly let's have a look at the clown show. That's IFL TV. I think we'll even get the clown music for this one because this is the worst fucking channel in all the boxing. Hold on, let's have a look at the IFL TV comment section. Look, also known as Mong City. Oh, I think Conor Benn's really elite. I think Conor Benn's really elite. Let's get a British boxing theme tune on. Let's have a look. What we got here? Let's see what we got. Love the way that Conor triggers all these haters. Can literally see the steam coming from their keyboards while they're typing. Keep looking at these comments. Conor has come on really well. Credit to his team and Eddie. Future world champ for sure. Watch this guy from day one. He's going to the top. Looking good. Keep fighting like that. He's going to win a championship. This lad's an animal. Love watching him. Don't get why everyone hating on Ben. Let him take the path his destiny. Top man, Conor. Keep doing your thing. This is all a learning curve. You get the picture. Yeah? Any questions? Any questions? Anybody doubting that British boxing's an absolute clown show, yeah? Are we still doubting it, yeah? Are we still doubting it? But there's stadium fights! Don't even get me started on stadium fights. We'll leave that for another day. No, it's stadium fights, but Ultra is fighting in a stadium. Fucking hell. Don't even get me started on that. You guys want me to keep going. What is there? It's only IFL TV can... Do you know what I mean? Look, I don't think there's any more. Unless we go to Twitter. I mean, look, I'm just being real. I love this country, yeah? But the state of boxing and the state of the media is a disgrace. What do you want me to fucking tell you here? What do you want me to tell you? It's a fucking disgrace. Simple as that. All right, let's go. Let's have a look here. Right. Thanks for the clarification of British Boxing Ultra. Bless mate. Well, of course. But listen, it is what it is. It is what it is. But listen, do you know what it is? Right? I'll leave it at this. Do you know if other media actually did their fucking job? I wouldn't have to make these episodes, you know? Like, I wouldn't have to make these episodes. If the British media actually did their fucking job, yeah? And asked the questions, yeah? I wouldn't have to fucking do these stupid ass episodes. The reason I have to do them is because we keep doing stuff, you know, we keep having these stupid conversations. Like, there are genuine people out there who genuinely believe that Lewis Ritson was the Geordie Golovkin. There actually are living, breathing mammals out there that believe that. So that's what it is, isn't it? That's what it is. Oh, here we go. Heaven and hell. I don't understand what you're mad about. I'm mad that you're on my channel. That's why I've hit the block button. Get your ass out of here. And mods, where's my master hater list at, man? To all my mods in here, man. Where's my master hater list?
And the other thing I need y'all to do, when you see a hater, I want you to screenshot it and save it. I want you to put a little folder on your desktop, Dr. Umar Haters. Because when we open up the school, I'm going to have an email address. And I want you to send all the haters. They picture, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a master hater list. Because these same trolls think they're going to sneak into the school. They think they're going to apply. You got to help me keep them out.
Before we go, let's have a quick look at Carl Froch. I did mean to do that. Let's have a look. Carl Froch told it how it was, but you know Carl Froch ain't no fool. Carl Froch knows what it's like to fight at elite level. Let's have a quick look at Carl Froch. Right, he's not... Oh, no! No, before I go, let me show you something else that I forgot. That's what I forgot to show you. Look at this quickly. Somebody brought my attention to this before we go. You want to know what British boxing media is an absolute clown show? Look who's back. It's Michelle Joy Phelps is back. It's Michelle Joy Phelps. Now, for those of you who don't know who Michelle Joy Phelps is, yeah? Michelle Joy Phelps is one of the most serious journalists in this country, yeah, and in America. I think she's based in America again now. She is one of the most serious journalists in this country. I mean, she's right up there with the likes of Laura Kusenberg. She's right up there. She's one of the she's hard hitting, you know. Michelle Joy Phelps only asks hard hitting questions. Now, if you're not familiar with Michelle Joy Phelps' brand of journalism, feel free to click on this link here, where Michelle Joy Phelps, about 1.5 months ago, asked Alexander Usyk and Ugas Kilmas why the Anthony Joshua rematch couldn't take place in Ukraine. So if you'd like to click on that, I believe she won a Pulitzer Prize for that level of journalism. Let's have a look. Hold on. Let's go and have a look at the Journalist Awards 2022. I'm serious. I'm going to go there. I'm sure Michelle Joy Phelps is on there. Let's have a look. Right. Let's get this up on the screen so you guys can see it. I'm sure Michelle Joy Phelps is in there. I'm sure she got a Pulitzer. So as you can see, you've got the RTS, yeah, Television Journalism of the Year Awards. I'm pretty sure Michelle Joy Phelps won an award. Hold on. Let me just do something and say. Get your comments in. If anybody really wants to call in, they can call in. Bit late now, but if anybody wants to call in, they can call in. Hold on. Let's see what we can do this here. Here we go. Here's a good one. I think you guys know what's about to happen anyway. Hold on, right. Wow. Come on. People on Twitter now copying me doing this as well. These lame ass dudes on Twitter. They keep copying everything a brother's doing right now. Hang on a minute. Oh, that's why. Hold on. Why is he doing that? Hold on a minute. I fucking buggered this big time. Why has he got that address? No. No, that's fine. Oh, it's not working. My HTML skills don't work today. Oh, so for some reason this image don't work today. Okay, it's me and my skills. But anyway, Michelle Joy Phelps, yeah? If you're not familiar with Michelle Joy Phelps journalism, there's Michelle Joy Phelps asking Alexander Usyk, yeah, why the Anthony Joshua rematch can't take place, yeah, in Ukraine. Now, look at this. I can't click on this interview, okay? But somebody tipped me off about this. So 3 days ago, right? 3 days ago, right? 3 days ago, Yordenis Ugas obviously preparing for the biggest fight of his career, right? Yordenis Ugas don't even speak English, bear in mind now, yeah? Yordenis Ugas don't even speak the English language, okay? The man's from Cuba, all right? The man's from Cuba. Why is Michelle Joy Phelps asking about Conor Benn? Now, some people are speculating that she was put up to this by somebody, but it is what it is. But do you not find that funny? Look at his interview. You're interviewing a man who's about to fight Errol Spence for the unified welterweight championship of the world, yeah? On pay-per-view. The man can't even speak English. He's sitting there with his translator. And when you drew up your list of questions to ask Yordenis Ugas, you were asking him shit about Conor Benn. Let's have a look at the comments. Not the video, but let's have a look at the comments. Look, the comments say it all. Look, here we go. Let's have a look at the comments then. For Behind the Gloves. Let's see what people think about Behind the Gloves. Jesus Christ. Look, biggest fight of his life, and you question him about Conor Benn. Behind the Gloves. This is a truly disrespectful interview. You took advantage of his calm nature to ask truly silly questions and no Spence questions when he has Spence standing in front of him. Why are we talking about Conor Benn when he's about to fight the toughest career against Spence? This is completely disrespect to a champ. Blah blah blah. Wow, what a shitty move by Behind the Gloves. Very disrespectful interview to a man that is a gentleman and is 2 days away from the fight of his life. Nobody gives a damn what Conor Benn has to say about some old sparring. I hope Eddie Hearn gave you some good money for this. This is definitely the worst interview I've seen. You're lucky Ugas didn't walk away. Who cares about the other guy? Focus about him in his current fight. That's the state of journalism, yeah? That's the state of journalism. Now, who put her up to that? Because I heard a rumour that somebody might have put her up to that. She out here asking Yordenis Ugas 1,000,001 questions about what Conor Benn said. The man's about to get in a damn ring with Errol Spence. But apparently, I'm the problem in boxing. It's all me. Ultra's the problem. How can we fix British boxing? Ultra's the problem. You know, can I finish off with this? Is Ade Oladipo going live today? Because I'd like someone to ask him, do you honestly think Conor Benn's elite level? I'd be interested to hear his answer because Ade's a good dude and Ade talks a lot of sense. And Eddie Hearn stood in the ring last night with Ade, didn't he? It was Ade who did the interview with Eddie Hearn. And Eddie Hearn looked Ade in the face and said Conor Benn was an elite fighter. So if Ade does go live today, I'd like someone to ask Ade, do you believe Conor Benn's an elite fighter? I know Ade will say he's not, but I just want to clarify that. I'm surprised. I mean, Ade can't say nothing to Eddie Hearn. He's doing his job. He's on a DAZN broadcast. But I just like to confirm, just to make sure that Ade hasn't been that taken in by DAZN, he actually believes that Conor Benn is elite level, right? So I'd like to know, if somebody can ask Ade that would be fantastic. Like, just make sure, like, Ade, is Conor Benn really elite? He's not elite, is he? Like, you can think he's a good fighter. You can think he's world level. You can think he's a level. But let's get this straight. Like, Conor Benn's not elite, is he? Because Eddie Hearn literally stood in the ring with this dude. He stood in the ring with him. Got a photo here. If I can find it, I've got a photo right here from last night's live show. I think I've got it anyway. There you go. Not making up no stories. There it is. There's Ade in the ring with Eddie Hearn and Conor Benn. And Eddie Hearn turned around to Ade and said, Conor Benn's elite level. Yo. If he said that to me, I would have just started laughing. Like, what? Bro, let me tell you this is a closing, yeah? Let me tell you this is my last word and I'll go. Because this show's been going a bit too long. Do you know, I fell out with somebody once. It was just back in the day when I used to be a little bit more active, yeah? In talking to people. No, I like Ade. I'm not trying to say nothing bad about Ade, but Ade was the one who was in the ring with Hearn and Benn at the time. So Eddie Hearn made the statement to Ade. So I would like to know Ade's actual opinion, yeah? About does he think Conor Benn's elite or not? Surely even Ade knows that's BS. But anyway, look, it is what it is, right? Now, let me ask you this, yeah? Let me tell you this. I've fallen out with people, right, in boxing, right? I've fallen out with a lot of people in boxing. You know, one of the reasons why I fell out with somebody, and obviously, yeah, like I said before, I was never sort of like a big time interview or anything, but I did an interview with somebody, right? And this person had a female prospect, okay? They had a female prospect. And they wanted me to interview this female prospect. And I didn't want to interview this female prospect. I wanted to interview them. But they changed the interview on me at the last minute. And they wanted me to interview this female prospect, yeah? So I kind of shat my pants because I didn't want to get banged out. So I did it, right? And do you know what they were telling me to say? Do you know what they were trying to say? They wanted to do an interview where this female prospect, who is a very, very nice person. A couple of you, there are some people in the chat who will know who this is. So I'm not going to say names, right? Some of you in the chat will know who this is. Female prospect. No, I don't think she's ever been on TV or anything. Not a big name, but people around boxing circles who've done a bit of boxing or been around a few gyms might know who she is. People who've done know a bit about female boxing might know who she is. This dude was acting as a manager, yeah, or a trainer manager. He wanted me to do one of these IFL TV style beef interviews where this girl was going to call out Katie Taylor. I've never told this story before. This girl was going to come on. Him and this girl were going to come on, yeah? And they were going to call out Katie Taylor and say shit like, yo, Katie Taylor, this girl's got your number. So if you want it, give us a call. I know this girl can beat Katie Taylor. I know this is the girl to beat Katie Taylor. And you know what? Do you know what I had to do with that recording? Do you know what I had to do with that recording? As soon as I got out of the gym, I pressed delete. Because you got to have a little bit of dignity about you, man. I didn't even like Katie Taylor. I hope Amanda Serrano is going to lose, by the way, right? Amanda Serrano is going to lose, but I hope Amanda Serrano knocks Katie Taylor out cold. But with all that Katie Taylor's achieved in the sport, how could I ever allow anybody to come on this channel with some prospect who's for absolutely nobody in the pro ranks to turn around and talk some bullshit about somebody like Katie Taylor? I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. There's no way I could do that, yeah? I just couldn't do that. I wasn't prepared to do that. So look, there are certain times where we have to draw the line. Do you know what I mean? Journalist or not. There are some times where we have to draw the line and say, well, do you know what? I'm not going to get involved in that. I'm not going to say that because I don't believe in it. I don't believe in it. Like, I don't believe this girl is on the same level as Katie Taylor. So I'm not going to allow somebody to use my platform to call Katie Taylor out. What do you guys think? True, innit? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to allow someone to come on this channel and start saying, yo, Katie Taylor is overrated, this, that, blah, blah, blah. And it wasn't a beef thing. They meant well. They were just trying to get hype for their fighter. Do you know what I mean? There's not a beef thing. The guy's a good guy. I haven't got a problem with the guy. He's a very nice guy, actually. But he's just trying to get... That's what goes on in boxing, right? That's what goes on in boxing. That's how you get your eyes on your fighter. But I can't do that. What would I do that for? And it's the same with this Conor Benn stuff, isn't it? Like, you've got the promoters sitting in the ring saying Conor Benn's elite. If that was to me, yeah, that's how I'm deleting this recording. I want no part of this, man. I ain't doing it, man. I don't care. I ain't doing it. It is what it is. All right, final comments. Elite level but fighting Chris van der Heerden. Official Gob says, I don't really know when the line is drawn for elitism. He's a good fighter. Who would you say are currently elite? Canelo, Crawford, Usyk. Look, we can all have different opinions on elite and not elite and all this stuff. I don't really care. All I know is Conor Benn's not elite level. I'm not even talking about resume. I'm talking mainly about his technique. Can I ask you a question? Have you ever seen anything in Conor Benn's actual technique that makes you think that he's going to be able to hang with those kind of fighters in a take it and give fight? Because you saw it last night with Spence and Ugas. When you get to the highest level, yeah? When you get to the highest level, these fights are take and give. These fighters aren't just eating punches, closing fighters down and getting them out of there with the first big shot in the first 2 rounds. You saw Spence. Spence completely dominated and beat up Yordenis Ugas. And Spence was in big trouble in that 6th round. One shot, he was in big trouble in that 6th round. And he beat Ugas. He beat the life out of him in that fight. But that fight was still a give and take fight. Ugas was getting the fucking brakes beat off him, and he was still landing the odd decent shot here and there. And that's what boxing is like a lot of the time at the highest level. These fights are give and take. Do you really think Conor Benn could survive in a give and take fight against an elite level fighter? Honestly. Really? I'm talking about technique. I'm not even talking about resume. I'm not even talking about resume. If you look at the way he sets up his shots, if you look at the lack of a jab from Conor Benn, if you look at the way he loads up and misses into things and goes off balance, you just know. You don't need to look at resume. I don't need to look at his resume to see that he's not elite level. I can tell by the way he throws his shots and he sets his shots up, he's not elite level. Jason Walker says, women's boxing is like a huge car yard with a few good cars and lots of shit. I would agree with that. It's got no depth whatsoever. No depth. I would win a world title in female boxing. I would challenge for a world title in female boxing. Well, I know for a fact I would. I know for a fact I'll get a shot against... Anyway, I'm not going to start. Right. I think M2M, that's it. M2M says, that's me, had enough hate for one day. Cheers, Ultra. No problems, M2M. Anytime you need a bit of hate, come to here. Of course, it's always hate, innit? It's not opinions, it's hate. I'm hating. I'm a hater. You're a hater because you don't think Conor Benn's elite level. Oh, my God. You're a hater because you pick up people's hypocrisies and inconsistencies. All right. It is what it is. Go through some final comments. So... I think we're going to see Benn versus Mikey Garcia next. That's what I think. I think Eddie Hearn's got that set up. That's what I'm expecting next. Conor Benn versus Mikey Garcia. That's the fight I'm expecting. That's the fight I'm expecting. And if Mikey Garcia has anything... I mean, well, I haven't really seen the Sandor Martin fight. I heard he stunk the joint out, so I guess he's done. It's a shame, you know, because Mikey Garcia... a couple of years ago is the kind of guy that would really give Conor Benn problems because Mikey Garcia's had exceptional footwork. He had really, really good footwork. So he's a guy that will be able to make Conor Benn fall short and then he'll be able to punish him, you know? And I think he's got enough pop in his punches to maybe do something to Conor Benn. So that would be a very, very interesting fight. But of course, Mikey Garcia is 34 years old, lost 2 out of his last 3. So he kind of is, maybe he's too young to be a Conor Benn opponent, 34 years old. Maybe he's a bit too young. Nick Mandelberg says, I think they'll wheel out Brook. I'm pretty sure Brook's fighting Eubank. Oh, by the way, Brook's not ducking Benn, by the way, like Eddie Hearn's trying to say. Eddie Hearn's trying to say Brook's ducking Benn. No. Kell Brook is not ducking Conor Benn. Kell Brook is ducking Eddie Hearn. Kell Brook doesn't want to do no business with Eddie Hearn. You know how these two fell out, right? You know how Eddie Hearn left Kell Brook in the lurch when Kell Brook fought Sean Porter and Eddie Hearn didn't secure the fight on Sky. That's why that's happening. Kell Brook isn't afraid of Conor Benn. And anybody who thinks that is smoking crack. Why would you get in there with Chris Eubank Jr. if you're afraid of Conor Benn? That don't make no sense. Why would that make any sense? Chris Eubank Jr. has put a lot bigger beatings on people than Conor Benn has. Chris Eubank Jr. has ended people's careers and given them brain damage, whether you like him or not. I consider him to be a little bit more dangerous. The naturally bigger man, I would consider him to be a more dangerous fight than Conor Benn. Conor Benn's small compared to Kell Brook. So I don't know what Eddie Hearn's talking about. The reason is Kell Brook doesn't want to do business with Eddie Hearn unless he has to, because those two fell out over the Crawford fight and over other things as well. So now Kell Brook's in with Ben Shalom, and Kell Brook will be fighting on Sky with Ben Shalom as the promoter. Kell Brook doesn't want to fight with Eddie Hearn as his promoter, and why would he want to fight on DAZN as well? Why would Kell Brook? He just fought on Sky Sports box office against Amir Khan. Why the fuck would he go? This is what I'm saying. People coming up with these names of these opponents. Where's the logic? Why would Kell Brook go from Sky Sports box office to fighting on a fucking app on DAZN? DAZN don't have no damn rights. All they got is the Women's Champions League. Why the fuck would he want to go off Sky Sports pay-per-view and go and fight on DAZN for? 10 million, yeah? Well, yeah. If they offer him the 10 million, it'll go and do it. 10 million's what it takes. But he's not scared of no Conor Benn. He just don't want to deal with Eddie Hearn. Yeah. Kell took on Triple G at a few weeks' notice. How the fuck would he be scared of Conor Benn? And that's true. Kell Brook took a fight with Gennady Golovkin when nobody else would at last minute. But according to Eddie Hearn, Conor Benn is so dangerous and so ferocious. And Conor Benn sitting there, Conor Benn believes this. If you look at the interview, Conor Benn's nodding and so he fucking believes this stuff. Like Eddie Hearn's got him believing, yeah, Kell Brook wants 10 million because you're so dangerous. He'd rather cash out than fight you. But the same guy who took £3 million to fight Triple G, yeah, the same guy who took £3 million to fight Triple G and got up 2 weight classes is the same guy now who's afraid of Conor Benn because he knocked out Chris Van der Heerden, yeah? Cool story. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. British Boxing's a clown show. Regardless of what you think about me, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button if you would like to. And I hope you all have a nice week. And take care of yourselves and each other. Who says that? Is that Maury? I think that's Maury, isn't it? That's Maury, yeah.